Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. For those that are new, my name is Nelly. Today, we're going to be talking about reasons why women leave men that they really love. You know, when a woman leaves, she doesn't just wake up and decide that it's over. This might have occurred over a period of time, and she feels like she's not heard or she's not noticed, and she feels unheard. Basically, she's the driver in this relationship. If she doesn't drive, nothing happens. And this has been building over time, and she feels like she's being taken for granted. I'm sure you've all been in a relationship where you feel like you've been taken for granted. So one of the reasons why a woman would leave a relationship or leave a man that she really, really loves, she feels unappreciated. You know, when it comes to relationships, they're very complicated because it all boils down to communication. If you're not communicating with each other, you won't know how the other person feels. The problem is some men will feel like you're nagging just because you're saying one thing all over again. And the reason why you're saying one thing all over again is because you're feeling unheard. And that's the reason why you feel like you're not being appreciated in this relationship. And the one thing that comes to a man when you decide to leave is they're probably someone else. It's not the case. Most of the time, it's not the case. But men will feel like you're leaving them because there's somebody else. And he starts calling your name to justify the reasons why you're leaving. Because they saw it coming, he stopped focusing on your needs. The next reason why a woman will leave a man that he loves is because this relationship has become co-independent. This relationship has become so toxic and very stressful. In these cases, a woman will feel emotionally drained, and sometimes they will stop communicating. And you feel like, what's the point of communication if you feel unheard? And every time you say something, he sees it in a different point of view, rather than sitting down and asking, what do you mean when you're saying this? Because getting to know someone, it takes a long time. It's not a matter of a year. You can stay with someone for 10 years and start discovering new things that you never even saw in your first year of a relationship. And the minute you have that emotional stress, anxiety and stress starts kicking in, and that leads you to depression, up to the point that it becomes very unbearable. So that is why a woman would decide to leave. She has thought it through. She doesn't just wake up and leave. She has thought about it and given the guy a chance. And as a man, you will think that she's leaving for someone else. You've got competition now. And yet, she just wants to breathe. She just wants to find herself. And you're not understanding that she wants to just find herself. Sometimes you'll see the signs where she leaves for a short while and comes back. At that point in time, you're not seeing why she's leaving and coming back. By the time she leaves you permanently, you'll think that it's one of those things where she's leaving and coming back. So that is why couple therapy is important this time, because your relationship is hanging on the edge. If you haven't learned that during courtship, then that's where you need couple therapy. Because this is when you'll pick up those little things that you don't know about this person that you marry. And you'll deal with those behaviors before they escalate. And the next reason why a woman will leave a man that he really loves is because they've grown out of love. Growing out of love is one of the reasons why a woman will leave a relationship. Sometimes it's not because they just don't love you. There's something that has changed. You've both grown apart in this relationship. Even though you do have some love for this person, but you've just grown out of love for that person. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Besides being in love, the two might not feel that attraction anymore. And it's normal. This is when a woman realizes that something is different about this person. He's no longer the same. That is why sometimes you find that you've been seeing each other for 10 years and suddenly you just don't love that person anymore. There's no attraction anymore, even though you've been together for years. So it's normal that you just fall out of love. And there could be reasons why you fall out of love. And the next reason why a woman would leave is because she no longer feels that emotional support. If a woman is no longer getting that emotional support, she may leave a relationship. This is when she has lost hope in a relationship and she may want to start afresh if she feels like nothing is working. But in most cases, it's very difficult to start afresh because you already know each other's bad habits and good habits. And she may begin to have that emotional detachment and start focusing on other things like a career or maybe her children. Meanwhile, when it comes to men, they have different perspectives when it comes to feelings and emotions. If it's your husband, he may feel like he's providing everything for you. That is his way of showing you that he loves you. And you may feel like you want something more than just provision. Sometimes a man will feel emotionally exhausted, especially when their partners leave them and they don't understand why the partners have left them, and yet there wasn't any communication between the two. They may think it's for financial reasons. The woman has left for financial reasons. And yet a woman can stay with you even though you don't have money because he sees the potential in you and she trusts and believes in you. So it's very important to remember that every relationship is different and there are multiple factors why a woman will leave her home. Each situation is different and it requires understanding of the context that the situation that you're in. Sometimes it's just those cultural expectations that are very difficult to bear and she's not getting any support from you. You understand that she's from a different background. Instead of explaining to her about your culture, you want to impose your cultural expectations to her. So that is why sometimes you will find it very difficult to stay in this relationship. That is why during courtship it's very important to disclose all these things, your cultural expectations, so that she gets to know what she's getting herself into. That is why communication is very important, because when a person feels unheard, that person feels very frustrated in the relationship, whether it's a man or a woman. And the next reason why a woman will leave a home is because when a man becomes too controlling. These are the men that wants to have the last say. These are the men that are just narcissists. Because sometimes you'll marry a narcissist and you don't see it coming until you're married. No woman wants to live with a controlling man. Because sometimes when you're in a relationship, before you even marry that person, this person will mold you distinctly in a relationship and you don't see it coming. And you become frustrated when now you're married to this person. And you accept it because you're still in love with that person. Because he expects you to behave the way you expected when you're in a relationship. And suddenly you now realize that this person is a narcissist. How come I didn't see these signs? You become so emotionally frustrated and stressed in this relationship. And it becomes very difficult to live this marriage, especially if you're depending on this guy. Because sometimes when you're married, you try to talk about it and you try to reason with one another. This is when compromise comes in. So there's so many reasons why a woman will leave her home. And sometimes the man does get affected. It's not like he doesn't get affected. He may not have realized that he wasn't emotionally engaging with you. Sometimes he's so occupied with his work, trying to make a living. And when that happens, obviously he's shocked. He doesn't believe that you may leave. He's caught off guard. This is when he begins to feel that heartbreak that leads him to that denial stage that everyone goes through, whether you're a man or a woman. You feel like this person is going to come back. Let me just hang out a bit for a short while. They always leave and come back. And when he sees that you're not coming back, anger creeps in. How dare she leaves me? After all, I've done so much for her. Who does she think she is? He feels rejected, and men don't want to feel rejected. And he starts asking questions. As time passes, he may feel that resentment for that woman who has left him. And he feels that anger towards her for ending that relationship. This is when you don't enter a relationship when you haven't healed. Because what's going to happen, history will repeat itself. And you start thinking that it's all women. And yet you've entered a relationship when you have not completely healed. And that goes down to women as well. Don't enter a relationship when you haven't healed from your previous relationship, especially if you want your new relationship to work. Don't do that. So thank you for watching and see you in the next video. God bless you.